On the evening of December 14th, around 7 p.m., a sudden collision occurred between trains CP024 and CP032 on the Changping Line of the Beijing Subway. CP024 crashed into the train at the front, which caused detachment and breakages in several carriages on both trains. Images from the scene showed significant damage at the point of detachment, with shattered glass and passengers standing in the disconnected carriages, engulfed in darkness due to a power outage.
Everything went dark all of a sudden. Half of my body was thrown outside the carriage. I saw someone falling from the connection between carriages. Next to me, someone had a broken leg. It was only after the emergency services 119 arrived that we were evacuated in an orderly manner.
Passengers reported hearing a loud explosion-like sound at the moment of the incident, which occurred during the busy evening rush hour, with nearly all carriages fully occupied. The impact plunged the carriages into darkness, causing panic as passengers scrambled to find their phones. Some reported that their phones and glasses were flung away. Children were seen crying in fear. The temperature in Beijing was around -7 degrees Celsius that evening, leaving many passengers stranded and cold in the carriages for over an hour.
Right after the train started, there was a huge bang. The entire back end of my carriage went dark. Our carriage and the one in front were separated, about a 10-meter break. Everyone in our carriage was thrown backwards. I got hit on the leg by something from the divider. Despite the darkness, everyone was really cooperative, shouting, "Stay calm, stand up, everyone stand up." Suddenly it was pitch black, and I was thrown out. While the electricity was still on, half of my body was already outside.
As passengers were confined in the carriages for more than an hour without power and fresh air, some elderly passengers began to experience breathing difficulties. In an effort to alleviate the situation, passengers broke the windows to allow air in, which helped improve conditions somewhat. Mr. Wang, a witness in the accident, recalled being in one of the carriages ahead of the detachment. Around 7 p.m., as the subway neared the Life Science Park station, an announcement about a temporary stop was made. He initially thought it was a routine stop, but just minutes after halting, a violent collision occurred between the carriages. Mr. Wang noted that many passengers in his carriage suffered bruises and crush injuries. During evacuation, he saw several passengers lying on the floor of other carriages, seemingly unable to move. He recalled the moment and said, "There was someone crying the whole time and screaming. Some were pushed and crushed." After we reported the incident to the police, people started to calm down and started to take videos. Everyone was trying to guess what had happened. We all thought we must have been rear-ended. Another passenger, Ms. Liu, described how the carriage lost power and plunged into darkness after the impact, creating a chaotic scene with personal belongings flung around, accompanied by panicked crying. After regaining some calm, many passengers used their phone flashlights to assist others in finding their belongings and to contact family members. Mr. C, a passenger in the first carriage, said that everyone felt the severe impact and initially thought it was a rear-end collision, only later realizing it was a detachment. He mentioned that about 4 people were injured in his carriage, including a pregnant woman with leg injuries when stepped on by many. There was another passenger who couldn't move their left shoulder after the impact. An employee of an internet company, who was in one of the detached carriages, recounted hearing a loud noise, followed by people falling over and cries filling the carriage. The train was on an elevated bridge at the time. He saw the carriage in front had moved several meters forward, with white smoke emerging from the door area, lasting a couple of minutes. About an hour later, between 8 to 8:30 p.m., rescue personnel arrived and began escorting passengers off the train. Some injured passengers were given first aid and taken to hospitals on stretchers. The journey home for the passengers was exceedingly difficult. Social media posts showed a queue of 1,568 people waiting for taxis at Xirqi Station around 10 p.m. Many faced challenges in finding taxis or boarding buses due to overcrowding, with some commuters resorting to cycling or walking home in the snow, reaching home after midnight. Injured passengers spent the night queuing for medical attention. By 2 a.m. the next day, with the temperature in Beijing feeling like below -10 degrees Celsius, several injured were still waiting for x-rays and medical examinations outside the emergency room of a hospital approximately 3 kilometers from Xirqi Subway Station. The Beijing Subway Changping Line, operational since December 28, 2010, has a capacity of about 1,440 passengers and operates at speeds up to 100 kilometers per hour. Originally a suburban line, the line has seen increased traffic as the area around Xirqi has become a hub for internet companies, leading to consistently high passenger volumes. Therefore, on the evening of December 14th, potentially 1,400 passengers were affected. According to official media reports, the accident, which occurred at 6:57 p.m., resulted in injuries to several passengers. By around 11 p.m., 515 people had been transported to hospitals for examination, with 102 suffering fractures but no fatalities. By 6 a.m. on December 15th, 423 people had been discharged, 25 were under observation, and 67 were hospitalized for treatment. The official explanation for the accident was that snowy conditions led to slippery tracks, causing the first train signal to downgrade and it to auto-brake abruptly. The second train, unable to brake effectively due to the downhill slope and slippery conditions, collided with the leading train. Experts, cited by official media, attributed the downgrade of the leading train's signal to extreme weather. However, a passenger from the first carriage of the rear train, sharing their experience on Zhuhu, questioned the official narrative. They suffered multiple injuries, including 4 fractured ribs, a broken collarbone, and lung contusions. They expressed skepticism about the explanation of ineffective braking due to snowy conditions and urged the government to thoroughly investigate the cause and prevent similar incidents. They noted the absence of any braking sensation until the moment of impact. They questioned whether all trains operate with ineffective braking during snowy conditions. There should have been at least 1 minute distance between the two trains. If the signals had been normal, would there have been effective braking of the trains if it was 1 minute ahead of time? The temperature and snowfall in Beijing that day could hardly be called extreme weather. They felt that blaming the weather seems exaggerated and hope the government conducts a thorough investigation to find the real cause. Another injured passenger posted online in the early hours of December 16th, describing being trapped under a pile of people with several fractures and contusions and waiting 3 hours for a stretcher in agonizing pain and cold. He said that due to the unavailability of beds at Changping Hospital and overcrowding at several top-tier hospitals in Changping, he was taken to Shahu Hospital. There, he joined 3 other accident victims in the ward, each with varying degrees of injury, but luckily they were still able to move by themselves. The passenger himself suffered multiple fractures and contusions, finding it extremely painful and difficult even to sit up. He said he is going to ask the subway company to arrange for further medical checkups at another hospital. In the aftermath of the rear-end collision on the Beijing Subway Changping Line, there has been significant public skepticism regarding the decision to use a domestically developed communications-based train control over European and American products. This skepticism has been fueled by online comments from purported professionals in Beijing, who suggest that the only possible cause of the collision could be a failure of the CBTC system. The Changping Line's CBTC, produced domestically by Traffic Control Technology, was established in 2009 and completed its construction for the line by 2010. A 2012 article from Science and Technology Daily highlighted the success of China's independently owned intellectual property in CBTC system demonstration projects, marked by the operational commencement of the Yizhuang and Changping lines on December 30, 2010. This system, crucial for train control and traffic management, is often described as the subway's central nervous system. In the urban rail transit market, both in China and internationally, the major share is held by 3 companies: Alstom from France, Siemens from Germany, and Alcatel from Canada. To date, the majority of China's subway lines still rely heavily on these CBTC systems. However, the Beijing Subway Changping Line is one of the few exceptions. Official media have claimed that the domestic CBTC system is about 20% cheaper than imported systems and has a significantly lower fault rate, with the capability to reduce train intervals to under 90 seconds. Recent frequent accidents in China's aerospace, aviation, and railway sectors have been attributed to 2 main causes: the unavailability of advanced overseas technology and components, and financial constraints leading to equipment disrepair. The Beijing subway has been criticized for its inability to perform timely maintenance, a situation possibly linked to the financial strains of the subway company. Recently, the Beijing Subway Operating Company disclosed that the per capita operating cost for the entire network in 2022 was 14.32 yuan, nearly double that of 2019, leading to significant losses for the company. Recently, the company disclosed that the per capita operating cost for the entire network in 2022 was around 14 yuan, nearly double that of 2019, leading to significant losses for the company. However, the company's financial report showed that the total operating cost for 2022 was approximately 12 billion yuan, with labor costs amounting to around 6 billion yuan and security check expenses reaching 1.3 billion yuan, accounting for 10.5% of the total. This financial distribution has led to criticism from many Chinese netizens, who accused the Beijing Subway of spending excessively on public surveillance, wasting precious funds that could have been spent on critical maintenance works.
Regarding the Beijing Subway, there are 7 security checks at one exit. Considering a station with a minimum of 4 exits, plus other ticketing staff, that's at least 30 people per shift at a station. With 2 shifts a day, that's 60 people, plus those on rotating days off. It comes to 84 people per station. With 646 stations in total, the conservative estimate for subway station security staff citywide is 55,000. If we calculate a minimum wage of 200 yuan per day for each person, that's 11 million yuan daily. The daily passenger volume is 6.2 million people. Assuming an average fare of 5 yuan per person, the income is 31 million yuan. The cost accounts for 30% of the daily passenger revenue. No wonder it's not profitable.
Moreover, the rear-end collision on the Beijing Subway Changping Line is not an isolated incident. Previous accidents, such as the rear-end collision on the Shanghai Subway and the high-speed train collision in Wenzhou, have also been linked to issues with the railway signal system. On September 27, 2011, a collision occurred on Shanghai's Subway Line 10, resulting in 271 injuries, including 20 severe cases. The signal equipment for Shanghai's Subway Line 10 was provided by a joint venture between the China Railway Communication Signal Group and Alstom Investment. This company's products are used in several urban subway lines, including multiple lines of the Shanghai Subway and the Beijing Subway, Yizhuang and Changping lines. On July 23, 2011, a high-speed train collision occurred in Wenzhou Zhejiang Province on the Yongwen Line, resulting in 40 deaths, including 3 foreigners and 172 injuries. As reported by Dongfang Morning News, preliminary investigations also pointed to the signal control system as the main cause of the accident. The train control system used at Wenzhou South Station, developed and designed by Beijing National Railway Communication Signal Research and Design Institute, and manufactured by Shanghai Railway Communication, was implicated in the accident. Additionally, public opinion has raised concerns over the authorities' handling of the incident, including the non-disclosure of the victims' names and the bearing of train carriages. A live report from the program Morning by journalist Ding Tao stated that, quote, "There are 203 injured and 63 deceased, according to the latest information we have on site." However, seconds later, the program displayed a title stating 32 deceased, 203 injured.